Hi, my name is Koi. I'm a mom, a wife, a teacher, a caterer, an events organizer. I wear all these hats. In one big bracket, I would say I'm a girl that just loves to be happy.
Thank you for having us as The Connect. It's been just a great pleasure to have you, and we just want to get to hear your journey into coming into Australia. So maybe basically you can tell us why and how did you even start this journey to coming to Australia?
Um, where do I start? Coming to Australia, I must start from, I think, I will start from a while ago because if my sister was here, she would have started it herself.
Yeah.
I was looking for, I've been a teacher. This will be my 19th year as an early childhood educator or a teacher. I've been in education for like 19 years. I started in 2004 as an untrained teacher back in Kenya. And I trained, I went through CSS, DSS, and then I ended up in a primary school where I taught early childhood, and then I scaled up all the way to primary school. And then I ended up heading Custom Hill, which is no longer there. I was the kindergarten head teacher. And I was looking forward to going out of the country to experience different education systems. And I did try. My sister Isa was in the US back in the days, and I did attempt to go to the US, but it didn't work out. So when they moved to Australia, she came home and told us great things about Australia. And I must say that motivated me to learn a different education system, especially because Australia has the best education system so far. And I started doing my research, but of course, mtu akiwa home, you don't do as much research. So we did research together, and eventually we started working out things. By then I had done my diploma in early childhood education at MKU, and I was ready, but not ready yet because by then I think I had a young baby. So when I completed my diploma and our first son, Fernando, grew, we thought maybe it would be a good time for us to start the process. But then it took some time before we could come out here. So I stayed in Kenya and nikaendelea tu na kufunza. In Mountain View, I went to Mountain View, a school that I went to in primary school. So I went back there, worked for a little bit before I went to Custom Hill. Then I got my baby. So that was scrapped off. I was like, let me just settle in Kenya. No more going out. 2 kids, a husband. Life was good. But then I thought otherwise. So later on, to migrate to Australia, Isaac and I.
Oh, wow. What a back story. And that really informs, the power of this story, because I want to understand now, having gone through early childhood or teaching and everything in Kenya, now migrating to Australia, how was that transition for you? Because this is a totally new systems that you're coming to study. How was that for you in the early days? How did you find it easier? Was it easier to get into, or was it a bit different from what you were used to? How was your early life in Australia after you migrated?
I would have wanted to say a bit different, but you have no idea. Now, you're settled. Of course, you had a dream to come out here, and then you started your family, up and down. And in Kenya, it's a hustle. You're hustling here, you're hustling there. So, ushatwa mind hapo. But then again, you're thinking, for the future, what do you do? And back in Kenya, it wasn't as promising, the education system and all of that. So you've migrated, you've got to make big decisions there. You got 2 children, but then through your research, you're like, if you come with the 2 children, the statements, the money involved, alafu mnakuja nyi wote, you're international students. So there's got to be the 2 of us and then children. So we had to do big thinking. So I spoke to my parents. I'm really thankful to my mom and dad, because when I spoke to them, they were like, oh, okay, fine, that's good. Let's do this. But then now the bit I hadn't told them was, there's 2 kids. What are we going to do with them? Oh, and my mom was like, hold up. She wasn't ready for that. But of course, being a mom, I really credit all of this to her. Actually, when I graduated as a student, I was like, Mom, I did this for you. And she was very ambitious. My mom got her degree. I'll just mention her. This is beside the point, but she got her degree at 50 something, 54, 55, a psychology degree that she did. We were all grown up and we were like, why would you be doing a degree at 54? Like, my dad worked for an NGO. Since he wanted to make grow, why would you need a degree? Me at 54, I'll be traveling, I'll be doing stuff. But she was like, because this was in my heart, it was my dream I had, and it was a goal that I wanted to achieve in life. So she was like, I'll go. So when I told her about what was in my heart, she was like, see, I told you. She was very ambitious and she wanted us all to go through school and to just have good things. So she pushed me on. She was like, watoto, wawili. Okay, leave them here. Oh, and I was like, that easy. Okay, so that gave me more strength to do this, because if she was happy to be left with my kids and for us to migrate, then that was great. However, my husband Isaac had a business, so we hadn't even thought about that too. So he was like, you know what? Now I can come. I'm like, okay, everything is sorted, but the business now, what do we do? Am I going to be on my own? So we went through it again for nearly a year, again, thinking about, because now there was the business. He was managing it and he had done this business for very long. And it was a good business. He was into music and production and all of that. So just him having to stop that for me to come here and study, like, I think I owe my life to him, because he said, okay, this is what you want to pursue. This is what you want to do. Let's do it. I couldn't believe it. The first time he said that, I thought, guy, I had to change mind. So I called my sister and I was like, well, let's do this really quick before he changes his mind. So we left our lives. We were living in our own place, and it was such a huge change. Tumekuja huku, but where do we come? Again, now my sister was like, you guys come over and we'll host you, but just for a little bit. When you get on your feet, mujipange, mujisort. But then these were sisters talking. We had husbands. She has her own, I have my own. Okay, tunaenda kuishi aje sasa. It was like, let me just tell you, it is nothing you expect. You can plan financially. You can plan how you're going to go. You can dream. And I'm going to say something else that is so funny. Mimi nilikuwa nakuja huku 6 months, ninunue nyumba, na nijipange na gari and everything, and life is back 6 months. And my sister said, yeah, you can do that. That's okay. But where fika huku kwanza? Where? Let me tell you, 1.5 years after, we were still in her house. And my brother-in-law was so patient. Like, I cannot fathom what they were going through. Watu walikuwa kuja 6 months, wanunue nyumba na gari na everything, and they settle and they go. And 1.5 years back then, because we arrived here in 2015, jobs were not as easy. So I had to do kitchen hand jobs. I had to do odd jobs, like to just bring food on the table. And I really thank my sister and her husband, Sam, because not one day, tulikuja na mkate, and we didn't get told off. They were like, you are not buying anything in this house. You are not paying any bills in this house. Concentrate on your school fees. You have a huge chunk. Nyinyi shughulikeni na school fees. Shughulikeni and all these things that you need so that you settle. I mean, that's all you need. And they kept checking on us. Like, mko sawa, mko poa, how are you doing? What do you need? And having been independent back home, una imagine you've come out here and now someone is taking care of you. I mean, it's not easy. I must say thank you to my husband as well, because Ali survive. It's not easy for an African man to come out here and settle somewhere else and, just start life. But anyway, through our jobs, we did all that, went through school. It wasn't easy. School system in Kenya, it's more formal learning from early years, getting onto primary. But here we do play-based learning. So it was a good balance for me, because now with that and then with play-based learning, I was like, oh, this marries really well, because children learn from unknown to from known to unknown. Pale home, we teach them from unknown and we start teaching them, which is a bit harder. But then again, they get the skills really fast, because it's kind of very formal. But the system has changed now. I think it's CBC, which is close to what we're doing out here. So of course, to get the hitch of it took a bit of time, but I'm really grateful that I started from SAT3 diploma and then on to my degree, because that helped me kushika what happens on ground before we head to all the paperwork and legislative documentation and, you know, policies and procedures, which pale back home, we don't so much know that when you're a floor teacher. But now you've got to understand all of these to be able to support children. Yeah.
Amazing. We're gonna come to teaching a bit later on, but now I want to understand, what was your biggest, now let's talk about education and studying as an international student, because we have a few who are watching and, you know, want to know what was maybe your biggest challenge and how did you overcome that? Already we know that you had a very good support system, which is a very good thing, but of course there's that challenge that you really had, and once you overcome it, you said, okay, this I've really overcome, and something you can like to, you know, to help someone out there. What is the biggest challenge that you see facing a lot of international students, and how can you overcome such challenges, you know?
I would say just creating that balance. It's not easy. I had a great support system back home and even here. I had great friends as well. But when you're alone, there's things you think about. Kuna fees. Let me tell you, when you're an international student, you have no idea. Your fees, you have to have it. Like everything you do, you have to think about it at the back of your mind. Because like every single penny you spend, I must say, international students coming in, you come in, you have to look for working with children, you have to, Mikey, like all of these little things. But at the back of your mind, you have to remember, school fees is coming. In 6 months, I was lucky for my school. It was only twice a year. So at the beginning, no, thrice a year, at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. So it gave you ample time to save. But it's never enough time, because in that 6 months, always go out of a job. You cannot be playing around. You cannot be going out and having a good time and all of that. I must say, for the 4.5 years that I was in school, like I didn't do much. Remember, I had 2 children back home, and most of my circle ilikuanga, like we had children back home. So we would sit down and just talk about that. So you've got to send money home. You've got to pay your school fees. You've got to think about sasa upkeep home. Because of course, after we moved out of my sister's place, we went to our own place. Kuna bills pia, kuna all of that. And then there's your mental well-being. Like just balancing that was not easy. But I must say, I'm really thankful to God that we overcame that. And we never one time felt like, oh, depression is creeping in. No. Because you had to balance work and school. Because there's times I used to work like 2 jobs just to try and, you know, balance financial needs. And then I got into catering as well, because that's a passion. I love cooking and events and stuff like that. So I did that as a side hustle as well. And then now, staying sober and alert in class, that is very important. Very, very important. Because shule ukianguka, you're on your way back. Like, and just not cutting corners. You have to do the right thing. Because immigration is out there, and like when you were coming, you said a few things. I'll do this, I'll abide to this, this is who I am. And then you come out here and just start doing stuff that is not really, you know, you come out here, big city, big money, big everything. You know, you'll get distracted. But just staying on focus, just concentrating, I think that was a really challenge. So big up to me, big up to Isaac, Too little boy.
Wow. So the other aspect with that, and then we finish with the studies and stuff. Let's talk about mental health because it's really big with international students. You know, you come here, you find maybe you're on your own.
Yeah.
There's money, yes, there's that, but you have studies, you have work, you have so many things going for you, and now you have to now start thinking about your mental health because there's a lot of mental breakdown. So what is one thing that you can give maybe, or some things, you know, some tangible, you know, tangible tips that someone can actually utilize to keep away from such, you know, having a mental breakdown, because it's a big thing actually out there with international students.
I must say, talk to people. In my language, I'm a Kikuyu. My dad always used to say, "Adoneoido." People, you get money, you get great stuff, material things, but that doesn't count in your life. Like, surround yourself with people that matter, people that will bring good vibes, people that will build you, people that will grow with you. I think that's the most important thing that has kept me and my family going. Valuing things that are important, spending time with people, I must say, because sasa hata kando na familia, because we have a big family out here, kando na familia, which is always there, which is there to cheer you, there to criticize you, there to do everything. Family is there, that's their job. But kando na hao, if family wasn't there, look for people that are gonna build you. Mtu ukichukua simu, they just, you know, the energy, good energy, people coming out here, like people you're gonna check on each other. If you have a friend, kwa simu yako 3 months amjaongea, like you haven't checked on them, they haven't checked on you, like ask yourself a few questions. But hata ukakua, don't even have 100 friends. You can have 2-3 friends wenye mnajengana, like you're doing life together, like hustle, people that understand you. Because time kama hiyo, like I have some people in my life that to limit your time, and they still give me, like in catering, I've got a huge clientele, people that sometimes I don't even know because we just talk on phone. Oh, I was given your number by so-and-so. Are you going to do this gig for me? And then after we talk, they'll be like, oh, you know, I met you somewhere. You were doing this gig. My brother-in-law has, I think he started a night, Reloaded. And we used to go there. That's where we met most people. And out there, you're not having fun, uko job. So people used to be like, nilikuwa na Reloaded. Oh, how are you? At the end, we ate your samosas. They were very good. You know, people that are wanakupatia motivation. Wewe your time, hustle ilikuwa so hard, hata uko unajua whether you're doing great or not. You just wanted to do stuff to get along. But then now people like those that will uplift your spirit, and you do the same too to them. Don't just receive. Give as well. So that helped our mental well-being. And then looking up to, having role models as well, and people that you look up to, and people that are living right. I think that also helped us, like mentally, because students are coming in these days and sometimes they get distracted, want to lose focus because maybe they've gotten into groups. Watu already washa settle, they are doing their life, unaingia kwa hiyo group. Na wewe ujui jani yako ni yako, yao ni yao. You know, you just seeing this good life, you're seeing them prosper, you're seeing success, but you don't know walianza kwenye ulianza. So just being focus in what you do. Just focus. Na ujue jani yako ni yako.
Wow. Amazing. And now, you know, after graduating and now getting your degree, was it easier to get a job as a teacher? And how did you start now? Let's talk about your career. Now you finished studies.
Yeah.
Was it easy to get into your career and get a job?
I must say yes and no. Yes, because, well, wacha nijipigie debe kidogo. Mimi hujituma sana. Like, if I want something, I'll go for it. So at least I had created a network. like we in the education system. So through students, through friends, through alumni, just created those connections. So at least I was in the field, because after my SAT 3, I looked for a job. I worked for G8. So I got into G8 and worked as an assistant educator. And my then mentor was super impressed. So she kept me there for some time. So when I graduated, before I graduated, a year into graduation, she was like, Lydia, what do you want to do? I mean, have you planned your life? She was such a mentor. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'll get a job. How? Where? You're going to be a teacher. You're not going to be my assistant anymore. You're going to have your own room to run. And God knows what else you're going to be doing. You could be in the administration. You could be anywhere. You've got a degree now. There's no more assisting anybody. You're on your own. So, yeah, I was like, it felt a bit scary because I had been working under someone for so long. And I felt like, oh, I wasn't ready. But in our sister center, they needed a teacher. And let me tell you, she pushed me out. She was like, oh, they need a teacher. You need to apply for that. I was like, I'm not sure. And she said, I'll be here. So if you need any help, you just call. This is better than you going to a different company and getting a different role. So go in there first, get your job, and your resume is going to look good before you go out there and look for other jobs. So that's how I started and became a teacher. Like in the same company. It was just a phone call interview. And yeah, I became a teacher. I didn't stay there for long because, of course, visas and stuff. I moved on to a new center because I preferred a smaller center to start with so that I could start afresh. And there I flourished. I became a teacher and then an educational leader. And then I was an acting assistant director. So I must say it was a challenge, but then I climbed.
Wow. Let's talk about this career because it's a really we're in Australia, just to get the context, and I want people to get that context, because now we want to understand what are some of the challenges now facing people of our background, maybe African people coming to do education here, because it's a totally really
Different.
Australian, very ran culture.
Yeah.
Or you find a lot of Australians who are running it, but not a lot of Africans actually going into education.
Yeah.
Why do you think is that, and what are some of the challenges that maybe people might be facing and not choosing education as a career compared to other careers?
I must say it's not easy. The system is quite different. The way we support children is also very different. So is this my personal experience or is it? You really have to have a tough skin, to just guide and support children. And it's harder because I had my own way, like my own learning. It's just unlearning the Kenyan system and now learning the Australian system. And that can be a bit challenging because now I had to get out of that. And I do say to my boss, even up to today, that I'm from a system where it's almost like a school system. Here, it's play-based learning. But then when you go to school now, that's when learning starts. That's what most of the children say. Back home, it's formal learning, the rules and following guidance and everything back then. So coming here to do play-based learning, you'll be like, they just go there to play. There's no work, but it actually is a lot of work. You're nurturing young kids. You are guiding children grow. You are supporting them in what they know and what they need to know. So maybe people feel like, it's early childhood. And then when they grow older, sometimes the guidance is not as easy. The support is not as easy. There's a lot to be done. There's lots of crucial conversations to have with families, to tell them about their children. That's really not easy. It's actually something that I've been working on with my mentor, like just having crucial conversations. What else can I say? Yeah.
Let's talk. Maybe let me bring it home. Let's talk about In Africa, you talk about formal. This is where you follow rules, right?
Yes.
You're there to be seen and not to be heard.
Exactly.
But here is where a kid can ask you a question. Why am I? They can ask you a question,
child has a voice,
and you have to have a conversation with them.
Yes.
How did you find that, and how was that for you? Do you think that's a big challenge for people coming from an African background to actually do education in Australia? And how do you now navigate that?
Good you asked that, because now that is the area where it's a challenge. Out here, when you come and you're here for some time, you realize everyone has a voice. Like basically everyone, be it a child, different gender, religion, everyone. Inclusion and diversity is huge, and it's great because people have come out here and changed. It's so good. Everyone is empowered, and it feels very good to be empowered. Everyone wants to be empowered. Back home, it's vice versa. Depending on gender, depending on age, depending on so many things. Like even up to today, if you go back home, there's things you're gonna feel like you're bending the rules and you don't want to get involved in that. So out here, the children come out strongly, and they're gonna stop you and ask you, say like the why questions. And they're gonna even outrightly tell you they're not gonna do that because they don't want to, or they don't feel like it's right to do. And it's their right. It's true. They are individual beings. If they don't want to, they don't have to. But then now, you being a teacher from Kenya, how now? How are you not doing it? Because you don't want to? What do you mean? You have to because I said so. So I think that conflict needs a lot of grace, first of all, and you changing your mindset. It's very important for you to change your mindset and start seeing that child as an individual being with rights, with understanding, and just what can we say? And just someone who understands what they want, and just respecting that. And that has helped me raise my own teenagers too, because now I've learned to be a better listener, to understand them, to compromise, and to even say sorry myself, to apologize. Because, back home, parent is always right. Like I'm the grown-up here, I'm the one that's calling the shots. But no. And I've realized that you build better relationships when the other person feels valued and respected. The relationship, the connection gets even better. And now, from your own personal perspective, you have to understand that you learn first, you change your
Mindset.
perspective and your mindset so that you're able to fit in here. But of course, it's not easy. You come out here, you're what, 20? Maybe when you're 19, it's easier. But if 25. You come here at 25, 26, 27, 30, mimi nilikuja huku na 33. Seriously, to change that to God's grace.
So now coming now to, someone pursuing this career now, because you've been in different levels and you've grown. What does it take to really now grow in that career? Because you talked about grace, you talked about unlearning, what are some of the things you did maybe can help someone out there to get to the level you've gotten into? Because career choice and career progressions are totally different. You might choose this career and never progress in that career. What did you do yourselves to progress in this education career?
Mindset. Looking at life positively. Development.
Yes.
Just a purposing and just looking up, picking what's valuable. There is a lot to learn out there, but I just decided to self-educate, change my mindset, and look at life positively. There is a way someone's going to talk to you, and you'll choose to understand it however way you want to. Say, like, for example, if I come here and tell you, you need to change this, that needs to move from there. It's up to you, whatever you do with that information. You can choose to move it and put it elsewhere and even ask me, okay, where would you like it to be? I'm just saying this in layman's language. Where would you like it to be? And I'll tell you where I need it to be. And then later, you will come back and ask me. I really didn't understand why we had to move that.
Yes.
But I just did it. But just let me know why that was, because you came out really strongly and I felt like you were talking at me instead of Yeah, exactly. So that's one way. And the other person will be like, I was just having a bad day and that just triggered me. And then we will talk about my bad day. And that way you can help me understand that next time, if I say it differently, you'll appreciate.
Yeah.
So that's the perspective I've taken in life. And I choose my battles as well. Like little things, don't dwell on little things because life is big.
Yeah.
Life is bigger than little issues, getting into conflict. The workforce as well,
Yeah.
like getting out there. I've worked at so many different places, and especially visa requirements are gonna push you to work at different places because you want to work here, but you're required to work here. So the timings as well, the amount of time you've got to work, the levels you've got to work, the jobs you've got to work, like you've got to really be organized. I would say anybody coming out here and going to school, after graduation, that's where the work starts. Because that's where you have to see where you want to be.
Yeah, fit in.
And just like you said, there's not many Africans in the education field.
Yeah.
So it's got to be lots of Aussies.
Yes.
You've got to fit in the system. Culture shock, Kiko, but then it's up to you how you want to see life, how you want to navigate, how you want to, socialize, how you want to connect with people. And if you want growth, you'll get growth. If you want development, you'll get development. But I've also learned to give more than receiving. But I've ended up receiving more.
Wow.
So yeah.
Let's talk about something else, and then we're going to talk about what is required as an educator, or what are the processes to become a teacher. We're coming to that. But before that, you mentioned a very good thing. Do you reckon someone should get a mentor to get, career, any career?
Yes.
So you talked about a mentor. Let's talk about mentor. How did that help you? Because a lot of people coming from Africa, let's say Kenya, whatever African country, but they're coming to try and do things that they've not been in this culture or this country. Do you think there's a big importance of having a mentor in this country, especially for career progression?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right now at my place of work, I get a lot, but not a lot. I get so many students and I get so many trainee teachers and I get so many people that come into our workplace because we are a training hub now. And being the ECT 4-year-old, I get most of those to train. And my heart melts when a teacher comes and says, Lydia, you are such a good teacher. I am learning from you. My heart melts. But the first thing I say to them, I credit this to my mentor. I was literally just watching them. If she does this, I do it. She taught me so much. Back then, I didn't see it as positive because she was very strict. She was very tough. She would come in and be like, oh, you need to do this. You need to be here. You need to do that. You need to, all of these things. She was very on point. I tell her up to today, Hilda, I owe my life, my career to you because you've really helped me grow. Everything that I do right now, the good teacher I am right now, are places of work. Any awards that I have achieved were because she guided me in the right way. And she would be like, you're not cutting corners. This is what we're doing. This is where you need to be. Are you thinking about your future? You need to forget about what you were teaching in Kenya. Now you are here. This is what the system requires you to do. This is your work. She connected me with so many other teachers because she's the, can't remember her title, but she connects the Hume Council teachers and signs them off as now graduate teachers. So she connected me with so many great achievers to help me grow further. She was like, my practices are great, but you need to experience different practices for you to come up with your own philosophies, with your own practices, because I'm not going to say I'm the best, but someone else is not going to say they are the best. So we are a team. We need to work together. And she believes strongly in teamwork. She was like, no man is an island. Like, you're not on your own. You need to experience different practices. And that's what I live for today. I tell everybody that comes to my working space that you are here to learn only what is valuable, what's important, and what you think is going to help you grow. Anything else that is not good practice, don't learn that. Any corners that are being cut here, don't learn that. You are learning. You can cut your corners in the future if you want to, but get only what is valuable, what's going to help you. And most of all, think about the children you'll be supporting. Think about families, because I love teaching. I love education. And that's why I'm still stuck here for 19 years, because family come back after 5, 6, 7 years and they're like, you helped my child grow. Look at them now. I still remember their early years. And that feels really good. So you are in charge of so many people. People come up to you and they're like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Nani mtoto wake? Please help me understand what's happening to this child. Like, you opening your mouth to tell them something, you've got to think about it, because it will be a make or break. So you have to be always learning about new things, changing practices, and building yourself to support others. Because there's got to be families, there's got to be children, there's got to be peers, there's got to be all of these people around you. So yeah, a mentor, very important.
Amazing, amazing. So let's talk about now the career now, from after you finished and then now to where you are. So what are some of the requirements that someone might not know when they're getting into? And what are some of the registrations they need? Because now we're talking to someone who wants to actually jump into education. Or they're transitioning from a teacher in Kenya or in Africa to actually come and teach here. So what are some of those things you actually found out on your way that can actually help someone out there?
That was a nightmare. It's been a few hurdles here and there, but I'm really grateful to God that I'm here. I didn't think I would get to where I am right now. Because you've registered, you've paid for the degree, you're in school, you're doing your 80%, you're good to go. So you're doing well, the teachers are happy, you're still learning. I started my degree, like now the actual degree, in 2017, 18, 19? Yes, because it was 2 years. So 2018, we get to 2018. Umesoma 2 years, umebakisha 2 years. We are told, 2018. I started in 2017, tumesoma, 2018, tumesoma. Sasa towards 2018, we are told, the government has decided, if you joined the degree, I can't remember when after when, because I think it was all downhill from there. You have to do an exam called ReLearnt. You know, there is IELTS. That is a nightmare to everyone. Mtu anasikianga IELTS unaona ameruka. You know, there is IELTS.
IELTS is an English exam, just for those to know.
IELTS is a very up and down English exam that people are terrified about. But now there is ReLearnt. ReLearnt is numeracy and literacy. That has to be done. But now has to be done, I think from 2017 or 2018, has to be done by all teachers, and you have to pass it. But now, we were not told when starting the degree. So now it's 2018, towards the end, it's only like 10, 11 months, we finish our degree. And it gets better when we get told that you have to pass the exam to graduate. If you don't pass that exam, you're not graduating. And you're like, what happens to the degree? No degree. Okay, fine, let's do the exam. Oh, it gets better. You can only do 3 times. You can only fail it 3.
You can only attempt 3 times.
You can only attempt 3 times. So we get on to doing ReLearnt. And here the education system is very good. Like, you learn at your own pace. You know, your teachers support you throughout college. Like, it's very chilled. It's a great system. I love how we learn in Australia. But then now ReLearnt, now all of you on the same board, you know, you have to pass this. So we did literacy and numeracy. Literacy, I'm very good. My English was very good. Actually, I did really well in English and language subjects. I'm great. Why? Maths. Hey, let me tell you, the first one I did, I failed. I came home, told Isaac, where the journey has begun. Whatever had begun before stops here. This one has begun. Hey. And you cannot, like, you do it today, stays for like 3 months. The results are out. Then you book another one. You're lucky if you get like a close booking. So time is going. We only have 1 year. Well, I did it another time. This time I had studied, I had done everything, so I was gonna pass. Let me tell you, I failed the second time. Hey. Since I came to Australia, I had been saying about so many things that my life depended on. Now this one, my life depended on it, for real. One chance. After that, you have no degree. Can you imagine even? And we went back to our teachers and asked, were they serious when they said, no, you can't graduate. Now it's 2019. You have to pass that exam. So anyway, now I got online teachers. Actually, I think whoever I got was from the UK, because now you're running helter-skelter looking for where to get teachers. I got a teacher to help me. Tukasoma. Akanipatia exam, akaniambia, you're still at 75%. No, you have to get 100%. So on the actual exam, you can get 80%. So now I got a really nice teacher here, Mike. He was so good. He told me, we're only going to do 7 sessions. You're going to pay $1,000 for 7 sessions. Are you joking? I just paid my fees. I don't have that kind of money. Because, now you're really looking forward to pay your last big chunk, your school fees, utoke shule. And now there's this exam holding you up. Unfortunately, I didn't get to sit my exam because I wasn't well. So now I finished school. I have a job. I have everything, but I don't have a degree. Well, I'm telling you, it was really hard. Anyway, we got the money, we paid for the exam, and now I had to really study hard. Anyway, finally, the last one, God in heaven hears prayers. Hiyo ilikuwa Mungu, wacha niseme sikupita. Ni Mungu tu alinihurumia. I did the exam and passed. But now that is one very huge challenge I experienced, because like, we couldn't complain, we couldn't do anything. There's people that took it further. Some Australians took it further because it's all around, it's for everyone. And they were like, if we've been studying a whole degree, why would we be tested in numeracy and literacy skills? Yet we've come this far. But then that's the system, that's what you do. There's nothing you can do about it. So you had to pass. We passed that. We got everything. What was your other question?
So now you need that, and then what else? Do you need any other registration?
Oh
as
yeah,
a teacher?
that was the next question.
Yes.
And I was so happy, celebrated, prayed about it. It was all good. Now you have a job. And then 2019, 2020, actually, I was in hospital. I was studying for my maths exam in the hospital. So that was a huge challenge. So that's 2020 now. And, you've got to remember, my kids are still in Kenya. We still didn't buy the house and the cars and settle in 6 months. So my family is still in Kenya. So all this time I'm organizing for them to come in 2020 for my graduation. And then what happens? COVID happened. So my children are stuck there and they can't come. My parents were to come, they can't come. But COVID is going to go. It's going to be here for a few months and then it will go. So that's 2020 and working and doing all of that. And now I'm on a graduate visa, and the graduate visa and a 2-year registration. Not actually a registration, it's a provisional registration. After 2 years, you've got to do an assessment for your full registration as a teacher. Wow. So it's partying for 2 years, but ikiisha, you're no longer a teacher. That's another hurdle. But then I was like, now I've been in the field, nimefunza 2020. Now we're going to 2021. So I know the gig. I will pass. So come 2021, COVID bado imefunga, so no family, nothing, we're just working. Of course, you get a little bit stressed. And 2021 now, because it's towards the end of my graduate visa, we've got to start thinking. We had been thinking about to relocate and, to organize our visa. But then with COVID, everything had slowed down. So things are not moving as fast. And now, graduate visa inaisha, provisional registration inaisha.
Finished.
So you need to get moving. So 2022, I started my VIT. That's Victorian Institute, VIT, Victorian Institute of Teaching. Yes, they need to give you a full registration, but you have to do an inquiry project where you select a question, you work on it. It's almost like a thesis, your master's. You've got 6 months to work on it. You get your own mentor. You either get yours or you can get your company's mentor, whatever's easy for you. So I start the journey. But unakumbuka bado niko na stress. My family is not here yet.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, 2021. So I'm thinking, what do I do? I'm stressed. So in 2022, I get a new job for a company that I'm hoping will sponsor me. And so I've got a new job. And then COVID has ended. So now borders are open. So my kids come in. So my kids are here. I've got a new job. And I've embarked on my VIT journey, inquiry project, where I did it. And I got my company mentor because I was really keen on this company because I was hoping they were going to sponsor me. So I wanted to do everything with my company. So the whole time I was tick, 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 you're doing great. So I was going to submit my work and because you sit in front of a panel and you explain what your project is all about, why you chose that question, how it's going to benefit you, what you've been doing to support children in your area of research. That was hard. And I was going to do this on the 22nd of December, 3 days to Christmas. And when I woke up in the morning, I found an email. My teacher says, "Oh, Lydia, there is a few areas you need to check on. You cannot present." So I just decided, I can't do this anymore. I am already stressed. I can't do this. So I left it. I didn't present. And so I didn't get my VIT. So I applied for a short time to organize myself. And VIT is really good. They give you another 2 years. Ujipange. So when they gave me another 2 years, I was like, I wasn't in mental space where I could deal with that because I was already wondering why it had taken me that long for me to have a few things to work on, like on my presentation day. So anyway, we worked it out, but I took a break for like 4 months. But eventually I did it. I did have to redo it. So it was just a few areas. And then again, perspective, mindset. You could choose to sulk and beat yourself about it and all that. But I just took a break just so that I could reorganize my emotions and, be in a good headspace to do it. So I did it and I got my VIT last year. Actually, this year in July.
Wow.
Yeah.
So those are actually very major things you need to work on.
Yes.
So you say the first one is the numeracy.
Very important.
Yes.
The IELTS score.
The IELTS score?
Yeah.
It has to be an 8 and above, or is it 7?
Yeah, it's 8877. And I would say things that most of us didn't know, that if you get it earlier, the earlier you get it, the better for you.
Yeah.
Because the next time you do it, because what we did, me and most of the students, we got what the school required and we moved on with that. But after you graduate, you've got to get the 8877. So start practicing mapema. Of course, you've got to be a superstar. You will get it. But if you don't get it, I always tell my students, most of my students, start early, work on that so that you get it out of the way. And then the next thing is learn tight. Start as early as you can. As soon as you start your degree, try and smash the learn tight so that it's out of the way. So that you don't wait to the end, because people wait to the end and then you're running out of time, you're stressing, you're going all over, but then manage your time properly.
Yeah.
I must say, if I was to do it again, I would manage my time better.
And then the last one is the
VIT.
VIT.
As soon as you start your 2 years provisional, start your VIT. Do it, get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Don't look at it like, oh, I still got 2 years, I can work on it later. No.
Yeah.
Start, like, get things out of the way. What you can do now, don't leave it for later.
Amazing, amazing. So I'm gonna just give you this chance now, maybe to talk to someone who's really torn between doing education and something else, maybe from an African culture. What are the benefits of doing education, especially more in this country, and why would you advise someone to come and do education?
Education is really good. I've learned so much, and you could use all this knowledge and skills anywhere in the world. You feel empowered. It gives you the ability to see life differently. I know nurses and doctors do an amazing job, an excellent job in, helping people, paramedics and all of those. They do great stuff. Education, I see it as the same. Like, you nurture children, you support like growing children, you support families, you bring joy to families when you support their children at childcare, in kinders, in schools. And when they look back, they're like, yeah, whoever was with my child when they were that young, when they didn't know what to do. Like, I value every step of early childhood. Educators, because I've been to all those areas. Like, I've been in the baby's room. A 3-month-old baby, kameletwa, childcare, so delicate, so little. And you see that child grow up to 5-year-old where anakwambia, I don't want to do that because I'm too tired. I don't want to pack up. No, you pack up, and you are just holding 3 months. It feels, it's a great reward. And I must say, there's different areas of development: language development, social, emotional, and there's school readiness as well. And there's literacy, numeracy, all of those areas that we teach. You grow to. You learn with the children. I am learning with the children in literacy, in numeracy. Now I value LearnTite, because things that I learned there, you don't want to teach children the wrong thing. You don't want to fill in children with stuff that's not gonna be useful for them in the future. Just like a joke that goes around, in Kenya, we learned about grasshoppers and stuff like that. Where are we using it now? Like, stuff like that. So I would say we learn as well. It's an area where you learn new things and impact lives. So yeah, I'm grateful that I'm a teacher.
Amazing. And would you recommend for other African, people from the African background to get into education? And do you think it has its benefits? Like, is the government really supporting people who are going into education?
Oh, the government is really supportive, I must say.
Yeah.
And at work, we get so much training. We get very great resources to support us. The education system out here is very well supported. Like, the government puts resources, money, everything in their power to grow the education system, to help children. So I must say, yeah, join the education system.
Amazing. Any final remarks, anything that maybe you think we've left out and you'd like to leave someone out there, something maybe you learned along the way in your education career, it might help someone out there as we wind up?
I would say be positive, stay positive, always have a smile on your face. As a teacher, despite whatever is going on in your life, you've always got to have a smile on your face, because that does wonders to a child that was abused at home, for a child that slept hungry, for a child that could be dyslexic and they don't know what's happening, what is going on, for a child that has experienced neglect. You just coming in and just telling them how amazing they are brings a change in their lives. You coming in with a positive mind and a smile on your face gives hope to that child.